Welcome back to my channel, and hello if you're new here, thank you so much for joining. It's a new week, it's the start of a new reading vlog, and this week we're going to see how many pages I can read realistically in a week. Around my part-time job, around having to ride my horses, how many pages can I read? I was trying to think of a number to set myself, but the thing is I have no idea what would be reasonable, so I didn't want to overdo it. I didn't want to overdo it, so I'm not going to set myself a number. I'm just going to see how many pages I can read. I was going to do like trying to read 200 pages a night, but the thing is, honestly, like once I finish work at 3 o'clock, I go straight to the stables and ride my horses, and then I have to come home and I have to have dinner and then I have to shower, and I just thought 200 pages is quite a task for me to read, and sometimes I can do it and sometimes I don't. I might only read like 80 or 90 or 100 pages, and I just didn't want to. I like to enjoy my reading. I didn't want to be stressed out feeling like I'm not reading enough. So we're just going to see how many pages I can read. I'm going to try my absolute best to read as many as possible. It's also the perfect time because I just started, well actually no, I just finished a book last night, but just started a trilogy, and I finished the first book in the trilogy last night, so I'm going to be starting book 2 today, and I'll grab the book for you. Please ignore the mess if you can see all the books on my bed, and here I've just filmed my October TBR video, which you'll probably see. You're definitely going to see that before this vlog goes up, so ignore the mess. The book that I'm going to be starting is Voracious, which is the second book in the Edge of Darkness trilogy by Lee Rivers, and oh my god, the first book absolutely blew me away. It's a dark romance, but it feels like, I said this on my Goodreads, it feels like a dark romance that I was reading back in 2022. You know, the era when everybody was discovering dark romance a bit more. I feel like 2021, 2022, everyone's reading the Devil's Night series, Does It Hurt, The Cat and Mouse Duet, Neon Gods, like just all those, I want to say OG dark romances, but I don't mean it literally like that, but just especially, it's nostalgic for me because that's kind of when I discovered the genre and really started to enjoy it that year, and it's been quite hard to replicate those feelings that I was getting reading dark romance for the last 2 years. But this, well, the first book, Insatiable, oh my god, it was insane. It's like a 6-star book for me. It was amazing, like the layers to the characters, the story, the character depth, how fast paced it is, the spice, it's just insane. So I'm just going to start Voracious tonight. How many pages is this book? So it's 300 and, so just shy of 400 pages. So if we manage to finish this book, we've ticked 400 pages off for the week. Obviously, I'm not going to finish 400 pages tonight, but I'm definitely going to try and make some really good inroads into it. I think yesterday I read 250 pages of Insatiable and finished it. Started it a couple of days ago, had a busy weekend, finished it yesterday in pretty much one sitting. It was insane. So this is the first book that we're going to be starting with. Very, very excited. And yeah, I'll keep you guys updated along the way as well with how I'm feeling about the book. But I can't, where I know the story's going, I can't imagine it not blowing me away like the first one did. It's just, if you love dark romance, I already recommend this series to you, and I haven't even finished it. So I might eat my words, but you never know. Update. I didn't manage to vlog a lot last night because I got home quite late, but I said I was starting Voracious. I did manage to make some inroads into it, but I was actually reading it on my Kindle because I read it at night and it's just so much easier to read on my Kindle. So let me see how many pages I managed to read last night. I don't actually think it was a lot. 52. So I literally got to page 52, which is pretty tragic. It literally picks up right where this book left off, which is Insatiable, which I absolutely adored. I gave this 5 stars. It was amazing. So in terms of the pacing and stuff, that was fine. And then I got to a point in the book where it's sort of, where the end of the last book ended and then this book started, we got past that point. I thought it was a good place to stop because I didn't want to be up all night reading, because I wasn't feeling very well at the weekend, so I feel much better today, and yeah, I just wanted to make sure I got a good night's sleep, whereas normally I'm more than happy to stay up and read all night long. I got 52 pages in, so 14% it says on my Kindle, and in terms of reading time it says 4 hours and 35 minutes till the end, so that's not actually that much reading that I need to do, so I want to make some really good inroads into it tonight. I'm literally about to go to the stables where I'm going to get changed and go in the next like 5 minutes. Hopefully manage to get home a bit earlier than I did yesterday, and we can sit down with a book and really get into it. I'm so excited. I can't decide whether to read it physically or on my Kindle. I think I'll start with a book, and then when it gets late at night I'll move on to my Kindle. But yeah, so I will update you guys when I probably get a little bit further in, because right now I haven't really got too much to say. It's going to be a bit difficult to say too much about this story. I want to keep it spoiler free, obviously, so my update right now, I don't feel like I can get into it because otherwise it will just ruin what happened at the end of the first book if you haven't read it. But there's a lot of flashbacks, and whilst I do love flashbacks, like the Devil's Night series, which is one of my favourite books ever, a lot of the story is built upon the flashbacks of past and present, and I had no issues with it then. And Nightfall is probably the biggest book in the series. Nightfall is the one that is most heavily reliant on the flashbacks. It's one of my favourite books of all time. But for some reason in this, I feel like every time we get going, it then flashes back. But then when I read the flashback, and then the flashback always links up to what's going into the book right now. So it gives you the depth and the backstory that you need to specific scenarios that are happening. Even small things like when they were younger, they used to watch The Greatest Showman together. And you get the flashback of the first night she like sneaks into his house and they have a movie night together. And then the next chapter following on is when Cade is in a bit of a bad way and he makes a comment saying something like, I want to listen to this song, which is like from The Greatest Showman, or he said something like, I want to put the film on, and you only know why that's so important because you read the flashback. So that's what I'm loving, but I'm just finding these 52 pages, like literally it's chapter, flashback, the next chapter, and the next chapter's present day, but the next chapter's flashback. So hopefully the whole entire book doesn't continue that way. But regardless, I don't dislike them, because the flashbacks are important. They're really important to the story and to understand these character relationships. But I am so obsessed with Cade and Stacey. I love them so much. They are, I honestly, for me to feel this way about characters literally not even halfway through the second book in a trilogy doesn't always happen. It takes me a while sometimes to connect with characters. I'm obsessed with them. Reading update. I am 114 pages into Voracious. Oh, it's really dark. Like, I'm trying to think of what other books I've read that are on this level. I would say Hunting Adeline, but even Hunting Adeline, I feel like I think this beats that, I'm gonna be honest. Also, like The Sinner, Chantal Tessier. I've only read the first 2 books in the Lord series, so I can't speak on the others. And it is so dark. It's not that, it's just making my heart feel a bit heavy, because in the first book you completely fall in love with Stacey and with Cade, like completely in love with them. Every flashback you can link back to the story in some way, so you are so connected to these characters at this point, and then it is just so dark. It's so heartbreaking, but it's, I think good is the wrong word. I wouldn't say it's good, but it's like, it's just so, this trilogy so far is so good. I just am blown away by it. I think that it's kind of giving, you know, the context that you get in the Magnolia Park series, if you've read that, where you're so in these characters' heads, you're so deep into how they feel about each other, and you know how much they love each other, you know how important they are to each other, because the author takes time to build that up. That's how I'm feeling with this, except as like a dark romance version. So obviously the storylines in it are extremely triggering and really difficult to read. Aside from that, I'm enjoying it. Like, if that makes, it's weird to say I'm enjoying it, but it's like no one's gonna say they enjoy the Cat and Mouse duet, are they? But then like everybody gave it 5 stars. It's like that. It's that kind of level. It's so good. I will do another check-in. But yes, I've read another like 40 something pages. I don't know if I'm reading this fast or not. What time is it? Okay, so it's currently 10 to 9, so I'm still gonna be able to read for at least another hour and a half. So we'll see how much more reading we get. Yeah. Okay, so reading update. I did not update the vlog yesterday, which is terrible of me, and I apologise, but I got back from the stables so late. I think I didn't get back till like 20 to 8, and then I had to shower and eat and everything, and I just wanted to get on with Voracious. I actually managed to read 250 pages of this and finish it yesterday. I can't believe I managed to read 250 pages in a day. To be fair, I managed to have a couple of breaks in the daytime at work where I was able to sit down and get some pages in, but oh my god. This series is catapulting its way into my top 3 dark romance series of all time. But I have to say, it is heavy on the heart. Like, it is probably one of the darkest books and series that I have ever read, and I have read my fair share of dark things. And regardless of that, the way that Lee Rivers tells the story, the way she writes, the way she gives us the depth and everything to the characters, the flashbacks of when they're teenagers and how in love they were, and there is so much pain you feel when you read these books, but it's also amazing. It feels like it's going to be the most epic love story I've ever read. It was amazing. So yeah, I managed to get 250 pages of this done yesterday, and it's like infinity stars. Now, when I finished this last night, it was about 20 to 11, and my heart was hurting so much that I was literally thinking, I don't actually know if I can pick up the 3rd book and go straight into it, but I woke up this morning, I've seen the light. I need Cade and Stacey's Happy Ever After. I need it for my sanity so that I don't have to go to therapy. Like, I need it. So I'm gonna start the 3rd book. I did actually start Restitution, which is book 3, and the last book well, it's a trilogy, so the last book. I started it today, but I didn't get very far into it. I think I got only about 20 pages in. I tried to read it at work, but I just ended up being far too busy to really sit down with it. It's quite, I wouldn't say it's a chunky one, but it's over 500 pages actually, so you know, it's not the shortest book in the world. So I definitely want to get a lot of pages in with this tonight. It is currently 8:15 because I was back late from the stables again tonight. So 8:15, I'm going to sit down with this and just literally read this through until it's time for me to fall asleep. But yeah, it's just amazing. I just decided I didn't want to take a break. I knew that any other book that I picked up, for the sake of reading something lighter hearted, I just knew that all I would be thinking about was Cade and Stacey. So especially the way the last book ended, wow. I mean, wow. All I will say is, if you take this series as a recommendation from this vlog, which if you like dark romance, you absolutely should, it is seriously incredible. It is so, so, so dark, guys. Like, if you've read Hunting Adeline to the 2nd book and the Cat and Mouse Duet, and you thought that that was dark, you, honestly, this, I mean, yeah, that was dark, but that is like Hunting Adeline, but just constant. It's prevalent, it's depicted heavily, it's described heavily, and it is just non-stop constant, and it's really hard to read at times, really difficult to read. So I would just be aware of that going into it. Like, seriously, I had to take breaks from reading the 2nd book. I was like, this is just too much. Like, at times it was just too much. It was making me so sad, but it's also incredible at the same time. So yeah, and it's just like, this is why reading, sometimes you just think to yourself, why do we do this to ourselves? Why do we do this to ourselves? But anyway, I'm gonna sit down with the 3rd book, make some inroads. I'm gonna read as many as I can until I get tired and go to bed. And I'll be back with you guys tomorrow because it is actually my day off on a Friday. So I will be able to vlog a lot more in the day whilst I'm reading this and give you some updates. So yes, let's get into the 3rd book. I can't actually remember how far I got into it at work. I just remember thinking to myself, I can't concentrate because I was too busy, and I kept getting interrupted rudely by my job. I need to try and figure out where I was. I am halfway through Restitution, and like, I didn't think it could get any more difficult to read, but it is. But one of the biggest things that's getting me through this is the found family between Cade and Stacey and the side characters. So we've got side characters, which is Tobias, Cade's father, Bates, which is Cade's best friend, Luciella, which is Stacey's best friend and Cade's sister, and then Barry, who works for Cade. Like, the found family forming between these characters is it's amazing. It's given me the same sort of feeling as the found family you get in the Devil's Night series. It is really I keep saying this, I feel like, in the vlog. It is really dark, but it's incredible. Like, this is one of the best dark romance series I've ever read, and this book is easily 6 stars, and I'm only halfway through. Like, it's just amazing. The character development, the character arcs, the story development, all of it. It's just insane. But it is just like, it's a hard read, but this is what dark romance should be. I feel like this is the blueprint, in my opinion, for what all dark romances should be. This is just absolutely amazing. Like, Lee Rivers has seriously outdone herself with this. It's amazing. So I actually have managed to read, I think, about 150 pages today. I'm not sure. So yeah, I'm going to try and finish this tomorrow. I'm slowly tracking on my phone, like, how many pages I've been reading each day. I've actually managed to read quite a lot this week, around work and riding the horses. I'm quite surprised. I also think it helps that I'm really enjoying the series I'm currently reading. Like, I just cannot put it down. Okay guys, so reading update. I didn't get a chance to vlog on Saturday because I was out all day. I went to Horse at the Ear show in Birmingham, so I brought my Kindle with me to read, but I didn't really get that much reading done. However, I have today finished Restitution, so I've actually finished the Edge of Darkness trilogy. This is actually kind of sort of half ended up being a bit of a vlog of me reading the Edge of Darkness trilogy as well. But I have been recording each day how many pages I've managed to read. I'm quite surprised actually, like I say, that I wanted this to be a realistic reading vlog. So it was just me reading around work and the horses and just like general day-to-day life, because like some people can read like 20, 30 books a month, and some people only read like 2 books a month or just 1 book a month, and like that's okay. And because I, you know, make a lot of bookish content, I just wanted to prove, like, this is realistically how much I read in a week around everything else that I have to do. I think I read quite a bit this week, to be fair, like for me, despite the fact that I was busy, like considering I had like Saturday I didn't really read. So on Monday I read 52 pages. Tuesday I read 92, Wednesday I did a whopping 250 pages. Then on Thursday I read 102 pages, Friday I read 150 pages, Saturday I read 22 because I was on a train and I was trying to read on my Kindle and it was quite difficult, and then Sunday, which is today, I read 247. So I feel like that is an insane amount of pages, like a lot of reading and everything. And if you guys do want just a quick review, I feel like I've said it 100 times in this vlog, but this is one of the best dark romance series I have ever read. I genuinely don't know where to go from here. I don't know how it gets better than this. I have been completely blown away. It has altered my brain chemistry. I think this has just been absolutely phenomenal, this book, and I fear that I'm going to be in such a reading slump when I finish this. Like, this was just absolutely amazing, and when I did have the time to just sit and I had no other plans, like I was reading hundreds of pages, like 200 plus pages of this series. Like I did it on Wednesday, I did it today. It's so easy to get lost in. It was just amazing. So a grand total of how many pages did I manage to read this week? I need to do some maths. Let's get the calculator out. If this goes like, this won't go over 1,000 pages, I don't think. I don't know. Plus 102. Okay, so I read 893 pages this week. Is that a lot or is that not that much? I don't even know, but I managed to read 893 pages, which to be fair, I missed a day of reading, which was technically yesterday, because I only read like 22 pages. So I'm pretty pleased with that. We're talking like, you know, if you round it up, we're talking nearly 1,000 pages. Would that even finish Crescent City? Like, is it gonna take me a week to read Crescent City by Sarah J Maas? Because that has been, I've been looking at that ever since I finished Game of Thrones at the beginning. Game of Thrones? I just finished watching House of Dragon, that's why that's on my mind. I've been thinking about that ever since finishing Throne of Glass. I had to really think that. I wanted to call it Game of Thrones again. Ever since finishing Throne of Glass, that is the next Sarah J Maas series I've got to read, but the size of those books, and if I can only get through, say, basically 900 pages in a week, that's going to take me it's going to take me a month to read Crescent City, isn't it? But anyway, that's not my TBR anytime soon. I am procrastinating and just talking rubbish again, as I always do. Okay, so that wraps up this vlog, guys. Realistic, how many pages can I finish in a week? 893. That's if my math was mathing. When I come around to editing, there might be a different number showing on the screen here, because knowing me, I probably still inputted it wrong into the calculator. That's a very Poppy thing to do. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this vlog. I've got some really exciting vlogs up and coming. I've got a week off work coming up, so I plan to vlog then. I've also got some spooky season vlog content coming up, some reading challenges coming up, so make sure that you are subscribed so that you don't miss any of my upcoming content. But thank you so much for watching this video, guys, and I will see you in my next one.